Hello there. I'm Colonel Sanders, and you're not. Yes, it started in Kentucky. It started in Corbin, Kentucky. In the 1920s, Uncle Harley ran a Shell service station. That Shell service station had to be closed down in 1929 due to the Great Depression. That same year, in 1929, Uncle Harley took over the lease to the Pure Oil service station in Corbin, Kentucky, and had more exposure to the highway at the time. Now, this next part I'm not sure of. I don't know if the hotel was there prior to him buying it or if he had it added on, but I do know that he added the dining room to the cafe. So he took over the lease and he started operating that service station, and he operated that until 1955. And between 1929 and 1955, a lot changed. He opened the Sanders Court and Cafe along with the Pure Oil station. And even today at the Sanders Cafe and Museum, they still have the pumps outside on display. Whether they're replicas of it or the actual thing, I don't know, but they're there. And we just built this location on Minecraft. If you go to my YouTube, you can watch the process of it if you're interested. He had so many hungry travelers coming through that he decided to add a dining room that would seat 100 people. He also opened a franchise of the Sanders Court and Cafe in Asheville, North Carolina. So you have North Carolina and Corbin, Kentucky. Because of World War II and the selected states on the East Coast rationing their gas to help the American efforts in the war, Uncle Harley was forced to close down his Asheville, North Carolina franchise of his Court and Cafe, of which he served his chicken out of. And he started his recipe around the 1930s. 1935 is when he was commissioned a Kentucky colonel for his contribution to the state's cuisine. He had 10 herbs and spices, but it wasn't good enough for him. It was Corbin, Kentucky in 1940 that he completed his recipe. I thought it was 1945. It was 1940. Because of World War II and the rationing of the gas on the East States, he had no traffic, no customers in Asheville. So he had to close down shop, and it got to a point where he couldn't conduct business. So he sold it, took up another job in Kentucky, along with running the Sanders Cafe and Court. Now, it wasn't Kentucky Fried Chicken at this time. It wasn't called that. He had his secret recipe, and he had his chicken. The Sanders Cafe is what I consider to be the first KFC. Because in 1952, that's when he called it Kentucky Fried Chicken. 1952 is also when he got his guinea pig franchise, the first yes after 1009 no's, with Pete Harmon of Salt Lake City, Utah, to franchise his recipe, which was all done on a handshake at the time. The entire birth of Kentucky Fried Chicken started in Corbin, Kentucky at that location. In 1955, they put a new highway in and he was forced to close and sell his location. And he went on the road franchising. And Pete Harmon being his first yes and how successful that was is what convinced him to franchise.